What's up, Fooligans? It's time to react to Fooligans. You already know what's up.
Today, we're gonna continue the Lost Media Iceberg by Blame It on Jorge.
Shout out to Blame It on Jorge. Appreciate the find.
Level 1 and Level 2 was good. I like the fact that they brought up Kablam. I didn't know about that episode.
I didn't know about that episode of Dexter's Laboratory where they were evil.
Yeah.
But we all know about the cursing SpongeBob episode.
Yeah, but I didn't know they actually cursed.
Exactly.
That was interesting.
It was cursing.
And they have those tapes somewhere. We're gonna find those tapes eventually, but...
And if we don't, we're gonna blame it on Jorge.
So without further ado...
Let's do what it do.
The suicide of Christine Chubbuck.
Okay.
Christine Chubbuck was an American television news reporter who, in 1974, tragically ended her own life. After years of struggling with depression, confounded by a recent operation that hindered her chances of having a child, she brought a revolver to her workplace and committed suicide on live television.
That's what I was thinking he was gonna say.
Recordings of this incident do exist, being in the possession of the station's owner, Robert Nelson. In 2016, it was given to a large law firm to ensure that it was never lost. However, it's been made clear that there are no plans for the footage to ever be made publicly available. The basement tapes.
I don't know why we're acting like we're ready for this. This is a completely different level.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. And I do not mean the pun, although every pun is intended. The basement tapes.
Yeah, this feels like it's gonna get...
What?
This is gonna get raunchy.
This better be tapes about a rock band that recorded in the basement.
I sure hope so.
And not about murders. It's about murders, isn't it?
In 1999, two students from Columbine High School carried out one of the deadliest school shootings in history. Prior to the event, the two recorded a series of videos that contained disturbing material, such as their motives and a kill list. These recordings, dubbed the basement tapes, were later recovered by Jefferson County and destroyed in subsequent years. There is an hour-long video of the basement tapes on YouTube, but according to the family members of the victims, the total runtime of all the footage is around 3 to 4 hours. The rest is likely gone for good. The death of Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter, was a popular wildlife expert and television personality. On September 4th, 2006, while filming a documentary in Great Barrier Reef, Irwin was attacked by a stingray. The attack would tragically prove to be fatal, as Irwin succumbed to the multiple injuries to his chest. Prior to filming, Irwin instructed his team to never stop recording, even if the situation became dire.
Sounds like him.
As a result, the entire aftermath, including his actual moment of death, were captured on film. This footage was first given to authorities, before it was returned to Irwin's family. All copies of the footage are said to have been destroyed, including his final words, "I'm dying." The death of Owen Hart. Owen Hart was a professional wrestler who was regarded as one of the World Wrestling Foundation's best in-ring performers of all time. On May 23rd, at Over the Edge 1999, Hart accidentally triggered an early release of his harness, causing him to drop 78 feet. Though fans didn't know it at the time, they had just witnessed a man fall to his death. Footage of the incident does exist within the WWE archives, though it's unlikely they'll be released out of respect to Hart and his family. While the event was televised, a pre-recorded promotional video was played during the incident, ruling out any possibility of an recordings and photographs have made it to the public. Audio of Timothy Treadwell. Timothy Treadwell, also known as the Grizzly Man, was a bear enthusiast who was mauled to death while camping with his girlfriend at a national park. While it's unknown how the incident started, the couple were found dead, with the attack recorded on their video camera. Because the camera's lens cap was still on, only audio of the incident exists. According to an Alaskan state trooper, the tape began and ended when he was being mauled.
I heard it before.
In a documentary about Treadwell's life, the director films himself listening to the tape after being given access to it by one of Treadwell's ex-girlfriends. Disturbed, he tells her she should destroy it, though she instead chose to store it in a deposit box. Though copies are known to exist, it's unlikely that the audio will ever be released to the public. Dross vs. D'Lo Brown. In a 1999 wrestling match between Dross and D'Lo Brown for WWF SmackDown, Brown accidentally executed a powerbomb finisher incorrectly, fracturing Dross's neck vertebrae.
Oh.
Although Dross was rushed to the hospital and thankfully survived, the injury left him as a permanent quadriplegic, ending his wrestling career forever.
Oh man.
The men reconciled days after the incident, remaining friends. They both agreed, however, that the footage should never see the light of day, and it was placed forever in the WWE vaults. The footage of Armin Maiwes. In 2001, Bernd Brandes visited Armin Maiwes after the two had met on a fantasy cannibalism forum. Maiwes had a fetish for cannibal.
What? This can't end well. I don't really care. What? This cannot end well. Like, it didn't start well. Like, bruh.
Yeah, this is disturbing.
And this is only 3 and 4.
I know.
This is 3.
My
Oh.
what I'm thinking is that the levels are divided by topics. So I'm thinking that
Yeah, I
maybe
think
level
it's
3 is everything that has to do with deaths, murders, suicides.
well, probably. Yeah, so far this is all deaths and this is all deaths caught on camera.
Exactly.
Is what it is so far. Camera.
So I don't think it's gonna get worse. To say, I think it's just gonna be a different topic.
It seems to be getting worse.
Well, yeah, in this specific topic, yeah.
Let's not ignore the cannibals.
This is
They're not even doctors yet. They're just Professor Lecters. They're Mr. Lecters right now.
While Brandes had a
see what
fetish
happens.
for being devoured. Upon meeting, Brandes was consensually murdered, as Maiwes filmed himself dismembering Brandes' body, desecrating it before eating it. The tapes were long sought after by gore websites, causing it to be held onto tightly by German authorities. 4 alleged screenshots have surfaced online, though their validity has never been proven. Given their disturbing nature, with journalists who viewed the tape during trial needing therapy, it's unlikely the tapes will ever be released. The audio of Issa
Seeing that would probably destroy someone psychologically or change them forever.
yeah.
Knowing that it happened, that really just makes you feel, okay, there's insanity in the world. But there's something about knowing that there is raw footage of that in existence somewhere. That's what's creepy about that for some reason. Just knowing that it's recorded somewhere. Ugh.
Sagawa.
Yeah.
Issa Sagawa is a convicted Japanese cannibal who, while studying abroad in France, filmed himself murdering his classmate before cooking her remains. Due to a variety of international legal issues, Sagawa is actually free to this day, becoming a surprise celebrity in Japanese pop culture. The recording of the incident, said to include the actual murder and stagings with the corpse, was confiscated by French authorities and will likely never be released. The audio of the Moors murderers. Serial killer couple Ian Brady and Myra Hindley committed a series of acts that have since been titled the Moors Murders. In order to reminisce of their crimes,
They look
which included
disturbed.
torturing prepubescent children, they maintained audio recordings of many of their victims. For obvious reasons, they will likely never see the light of day. The sex tape of Mickey Mouse. In 1936, during Walt
What?
Disney's birthday
Never heard
party,
about this?
No.
2 animators created a gag animation in which Mickey and Minnie Mouse were having sex. Upon its presentation, Walt feigned laughter, asking for the 2 responsible for it to come forward. He then fired them and had all copies of the animation destroyed. It's unknown how true the story is, originating from an already dubious biographical account of the animator's life, but due to its obscurity, it's unlikely any copies would have survived to this day. The death of Brandon Lee. During the filming of his first and final lead role,
Yeah.
Brandon Lee was tragically shot and killed
Yeah,
during the
that was caught on
accidental
tape.
misfiring of a gun loaded with blank cartridges. The incident was caught on camera, though the director claimed to have insisted it was destroyed. Several cameramen from the production have gone on to state that copies of the incident still do exist, though no tangible proof of this have ever reached the public. Goodbye, Innocence. La Rosa de Guadalupe is a Mexican
Rosa de
television
Guadalupe.
program centered around promoting Catholicism.
Yeah, I know what this is.
Many of the episodes are based upon real incidents, retold with religious imagery. The most controversial of these was an episode centered around a series of gang rapes, that occurred in July of 2012. During the incident, a religious group of approximately 90 people were attacked by armed gang members while camping in El Colibri. Among the assaults and theft, 12 underage girls were molested. Only 1 month later, an episode based upon the incident was produced, titled Goodbye Innocence. Parents and victims of the attack protested its premiere, successfully convincing the channel to drop the episode. That is until they wound up airing it anyways a year later. After the second backlash, they have since never rebroadcast it, with no copies of the episode surfacing online aside from a handful of stills. Super Hornio Bros. Super Hornio Bros is a pornographic parody of the Super Mario Bros. Series from 1993, starring Ron Jeremy as Super Hornio. Shortly after its release, the film's distribution rights were bought by Nintendo themselves. As a result, its existence was buried, only being known as an urban legend until it was recounted on the Something Awful forums.
His overalls are peach, actually.
It seems that the film did get a small limited release before being purchased by Nintendo, so it's very possible they could still surface online somehow. So far though, only its sequel has been found. Cannibal Holocaust deleted scenes.
Why?
Are we gonna ignore that there was a goddamn sequel? There was a sequel.
Yeah, there was a sequel to it.
That's hilarious. They just snuck that in there like there wasn't a whole saga. Oh, man.
With the 1980 film Cannibal Holocaust already being infamous for its disturbing imagery, it's no surprise that any scene cut from it would share a similar effect. This was the piranha scene, in which a warrior of the Yanomamo tribe is lowered into piranha-infested waters to have his leg amputated. Filming for the scene was never completed, due to the piranhas being difficult to control. Those stills confirm that some...
You know piranhas aren't really like that, right? They don't just massacre anything you put in the water. I mean, really, really, really hungry anything will bite you, but they don't just completely disintegrate, human bodies like that. That's sci-fi movies. Bad sci-fi
to exist. The whereabouts of these scenes are unknown. Ricardo Lopez's video diary. Ricardo Lopez, also known as the Bjork Stalker, is a man who filmed the last weeks of his life leading up to his eventual suicide. The tapes center around his plot to create an acid bomb to disfigure a pop star, angered that she begun dating someone he disapproved of. With over 20 hours of footage, captured on tape included his manufacturing of the bomb, as well as his suicide. The tapes were discovered by authorities after Lopez's body was reported, causing the bomb to be intercepted, and the singer thankfully unharmed. For years, the full video diary was only available in the form of an abridged 70-minute documentary, though the full tapes are easily accessible online. Original Jeff the Killer image. The infamous story of Jeff the Killer is one of the most well-known creepypastas of all time. However, its accompanying image remains a mystery. No one is certain where the original unedited photo is or what it looks like. It was believed to have named Katie Robinson, who posted an image of herself in early 2008. Evidence of this found online, and the Jeff the Killer image can be seen even before 2008. As of now, the most widely original image is of a cam girl from Stickcam. The Beatles, Carnival of Light.
You ready?
Carnival of Light is an unreleased Beatles song, known for being pretty long, at 14 minutes, and pretty experimental or avant-garde. The song was produced for a 2-day festival known as the Million Volt Light and Sound Race. Other than those 2 days, the track has never been played to the public. Paul McCartney has stated that he still has the song in his possession, and that he wants to release it, but that would require the approval of the other members or their estates. Camera Heads. Camera Heads is a lost creepypasta that was posted on 4chan in 2008, supposedly predating other popular creepypastas like Jeff the Killer or Slenderman. The story is about a man who discovers a backpack with a broken camera, a videotape, and a note that says, "I killed a camera head inside." He begins to research what the camera heads are, before being stalked by one himself. It had your early creepypastas and ARG cliches, and a few online screenshots confirms its existence. Sadly, it's still lost, but a video has resurfaced in recent times. Chikara to Ona no Yo-Yo Naka. I probably mispronounced that horribly. This film is said to be the first Japanese anime to feature voice actors. It was released in 1933 by Kenzo Masaoka and features a man who cheated on his abusive wife. Despite the film's significance, no prints are said to be available, and it is a lost film. Dingo Pictures. Dingo Pictures is a notoriously bad animation company, known for ripping off other studios like Disney and Pixar. Their films were really low budget and made for a quick buck honestly, but they have gained somewhat of a cult following nowadays. Surprisingly, most of their films are found, with the only exception being Sing Mit Aladdin, but even that one is only partially lost. Batman Fights Dracula. Considered one of the most sought after Asian films of all time, Batman Fights Dracula is noteworthy for having very little known about it, besides the standard stuff like the crew and cast. It was released in 1967 and features a mad scientist who, after being thwarted by the Cape Crusader time and time again, decides to resurrect Dracula to fight Batman for revenge. Super Smash Bros. Slamfest.
That's wild.
Bro, if you can resurrect Dracula, you could do a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you did?
Yeah.
That's wild. Batman's such a problem for villains. They have to resurrect fictional characters. Fictional.
Yeah.
Don't exist.
Well, I mean, neither does Batman.
Imagine, I wonder if
99.
Dracula turned into a bat.
Back in 1999, Nintendo held an
Man.
event called Slamfest 99, which showcased Mario, Yoshi, Pikachu, and Donkey Kong battling in a boxing ring. Although many photos were salvaged thanks to the Wayback Machine, no footage of the event currently exists. Banjo 3. At the end of Banjo-Tooie, Gruntilda hints at a sequel game known as Banjo 3. It is believed that this game would have been for the GameCube, Xbox, and Xbox 360. And a tech demo of Space Roll 2000 called Banjo 3 exists. Sadly, the game never went far into development, and was scrapped and replaced with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Aaron Ralston's video diary. On April 26, 2003, Aaron Ralston, a mountaineer, was climbing down Blue Jaw Canyon in Utah. During this event, the boulder that he was using to support his weight dislodged and crushed his wrist against the canyon wall. For the next couple of days, he would record a series of videos for his friends and family to survive, such as amputating his own arm. His story was the inspiration for the film 127 Hours, and his video diary is mostly lost. Aaron has stated that he would like the videos to remain private, as they were made for his loved ones, and he wants to keep it that way.
NBC?
Despite this, a few snippets have made their way online.
It's on NBC.
TATU
Those are probably the parts
Paragate.
that are not private.
TATU is a Russian pop duo from the late 90s and early 2000s, and this would have been an animated film starring the two singers. Very few promo images were ever released, and the film was eventually scrapped after the duo broke their contract with their manager, stating that he was too focused on creating scandals and fetishizing them. Unfortunately, he apparently had a lot to do with the movie, and it's unlikely it'll ever be produced now. Chris Farley's Shrek audio. I think most people know about this now, but Chris Farley, famed comedian from SNL, was supposed to be the original voice of Shrek. Unfortunately, he passed away from a drug overdose while he was still working on the film. It's said that 80 to 90% of Shrek's audio was recorded by Farley, and although the producers considered hiring a voice impersonator to finish the film, it was ultimately decided to pass the role to Mike Myers, fellow SNL member. Very little of Farley's take on the character was released, giving fans a small peek into an early version of their favorite Green Ogre. However, it's very unlikely that the rest will be released. Kingdom of the Sun. This was a very early version of what would become the Emperor's New Groove, before being drastically redesigned. Besides a few characters, everything else was pretty different, and even the plot was a bit darker. You can read about it online, it's kind of a lot, and it's an interesting little Disney rabbit hole. But given that the Emperor's New Groove does exist, it's highly unlikely that this version will ever be made. Previous versions of Minecraft. There are quite a few early beta versions of Minecraft that were made before the game really became popular. Unfortunately, many of these are lost due to time, and just the game naturally progressing and updating, but you can find some extremely early versions of the game on the Lost Media Wiki.
My Minecraft days.
GTA 3 for the Game Boy Advance. A version of Grand Theft Auto 3 was supposed to be made for the Game Boy Advance, developed by Crawfish Studios. However, the company was unfortunately shut down, and a lot of the staff were laid off, causing the game to be unfinished and eventually lost. Pokemon Crystal DLC. Pokemon Crystal had some downloadable content that was only accessible using the Mobile Adapter GB, an accessory for the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. It was only ever released in Japan, though the data for this still exists in international versions. Some of the DLC included items such as the GS Ball and Mirage Mail, as well as some minigames. Dumbo 2. A sequel for Disney's hit film, Dumbo, was planned to be released, but it never came to fruition for whatever reason. Only some storyboards and a vague plot description exist. The film would have featured the main cast getting lost in New York, and Dumbo's father would have made an appearance. Sonic DS. At E3 2004, Sega unveiled a tech demo called Sonic DS. The demo showed Sonic running through a level, with the player being able to control Sonic's speed with the DS stylus. It's unknown if this was meant to be developed into a full game, as nothing ever really came out of it.
That's what's up. That would have been nice, though. Alright.
Once again, I fell into the rabbit hole of this video, and this video is about rabbit holes. It is about things that get lost in the rabbit hole that you find when you get lost in the rabbit hole, and I just fell.
First level, the third level was extremely disturbing from my point of view.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
I'm glad we were able to make it to level 4, because level 4 had a lot of interesting things.
Level 4 was worse than level 3 for me. You know why? Because these are things that happen in the world. I mean, if you've read the Bible, some crazy stuff there too. If you think that's crazy. Level 3. Because people do some crazy stuff. But level 4, something about it just like I said, and about the thing that happened in level 3, it was not just so much that people are cannibals or people do this stuff. It's that people record it and it exists somewhere.
It exists somewhere.
Level 3 was definitely more disturbing, but level 4 just made me feel more cautious about trusting people. How I'm gonna carry myself in this world because, yeah. Maybe it was 3 and 4. It was 3 and 4.
This concludes our second part of the Lost Media Iceberg, part level 3 and level 4.
Yeah.
And we're gonna continue this until we finish it.
Woo!
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
What? You see that in the next one? You see that right there?
Chicken Little 2. Oh, sex tape. Boop. Wow.
Baby Boop. And Popeye. All right.
I have a sex tape. Cool.
All right.
Alright.
There'll be a whole lot of spinach. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get down in the comments, and let's see what you think about level 3 and 4, and what do you think we have to look forward to with 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10.
And have you seen this already? What's your favorite level of this? Let us know. And why?
Yeah. What's your favorite level?
Till next time, Fooligans.
When it's time to react to Fooligans.
Peace.